Hey, what's up, everybody? Is the whole world collapsing? Is the stock market collapsing? I don't think so. I think this is a big move to the downside, but I don't think this is the collapse. I think this is obviously, we have a big crash here in THETA, but if you look at XRP, we don't have that. We have a correction, right? We talked about XRP being an A. If it breaks down, we were looking at it as 3 waves down. You have 3 waves up, and now you're getting 1, 2, 3 waves back down, guys. You're getting 3 waves back down, and this is the most important wave right here. This 3-wave move right here is the most important because it's the final wave before the pivot back to the upside. And if you don't believe that, then I can't make you believe it. I'm just here to show you. But that's what I believe. And the reason I believe that is because when you look at THETA, it already has 5 waves to the downside. It's down 81%, and it has very clearly 5 waves, right? 1, 2, right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of that's 3. So that whole wave is the 3rd. That's 4, and this is 5. The question is, do we have 5 waves in the 5th? And we're going to look at that. We're going to look at that in just a little bit. But let's take another closer look at XRP. You can see very clearly we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves in XRP, right? So we have an 81% 5-wave crash in THETA, basically. And not only that, but it has officially backtested the 64-cent mark where it all spurred from, right? And I'm just using THETA as an example. You could look at SHIB, you could look at NEAR, you could look at, whatever. But let's take a closer look at XRP now. And let's go, actually first let's do Bitcoin, and let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Okay, so Bitcoin, did we backtest the top? Not quite. The Bitstamp chart says no, we haven't done it yet. You can see right there. We're really close. We're really close. And I wish we would have, So I think there is a little bit more room for some downside, but I think we're really close. All right. So another reason is, let's take a look at one more Bitcoin chart. Why not? Did this one backtest here? Almost. So that's 2 charts that, kind of came close. So, but regardless, we're getting there. Let me actually put a line right here and right there. And if we look closely, we can see we have 1, 2, right? And then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 3rd. Okay. This is wave 4, and now we have wave 5. Do we have 5 and 5? No, we have 3 in the 5th. So we have 1, 2, 3. So, and we're so close, guys. We're so close. So what if we get a little bit of a 4 like this, just like that, and then we come down for wave 5? That's what I'm thinking. That would be a really, really good trade, a really good opportunity, at least for me. I mean, I think, because then, I did everything I could to determine the best of my ability that the low is in based off the wave structure alone, but not even looking at the confluence in other markets. And we're going to do that very shortly. So this is a good video right here. So number 1, Bitcoin, we're super, super close. So this is the first asset. Bitcoin suggests that we have one more tiny little low in this 5-wave move here, right there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we would backtest. We would hold. We're not going to just fall through the floor. It's not going to happen. It would have already happened. The stock market had several 1,000-day drops, and people are riddled with fear. It's basically consuming them. So if it consumed them, then how come it's not crashing? This is not a crash, guys. This is not a crash. This is not a crash. Bitcoin is not crashing. Okay? XRP is not crashing. THETA is crashing. THETA crashed. Okay? Matic crashed. Ethereum crashed. SHIB crashed, okay? Did Doge crash? You know, Doge crashed. Jupiter, this is a crash. You guys want to know what a crash looks like? That's a crash. You could see the difference, okay? Major difference. What is Bitcoin doing? Is Bitcoin crashing? No. Why? Because it is backtesting. Look at Ethereum. This is a crash. Look how massive that is. It's just massive, okay? So go back to Bitcoin. Look at the difference. See, a crash is a pretty significant move to the downside, like this. That's a crash. All right, that's a crash. Okay, this is what THETA is doing. All right, so once THETA is finished, this is that'll be good for later. But once THETA is finished, I think we're gonna get a major retrace. So the first thing, obviously, is Bitcoin getting down in here, right? So we flagged out right in here. We broke out, and we have a 3-wave move to the downside. This is an A, B, C. And in the C wave, we have 5 waves. And the 5 waves is going to backtest the top of this. So that is structurally not a crash. That is a backtest. If we fall through here, if we crash through this box right here and just completely collapse, that would be considered a crash. But we haven't even gotten there yet, all right? So we're oscillating back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So we're oscillating. We're not crashing straight down like the stock market. Okay, now let's look at the stock market. So we looked at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's really close to backtesting. Now let's see if we can have confluence with the stock market. Okay, now look at the stock market, guys. Look at this. We have officially bounced off of the trend line. All right, so we have 2 points of confluence here, right? We have, actually, let's go to the monthly chart. Why not? So if you look at the monthly chart, you could see here was C19, a big crash right there. Boom. And then we came all the way up. We had resistance. We flagged out. We landed on support here, right? Off the trend line, boom, and then we broke out, and now look, we're essentially backtesting. Look what we did. Look what the stock market did. It's basically backtesting the top of the 2022 high, right? And not only that, but it's also holding support on this trend line. So you have the trend line, and you have this, right? But if you notice, let me actually do this, and I'm going to put one more right over at the top of the wick here, and you can see, look at just like Bitcoin, it barely missed it. It barely missed it, right? So just like Bitcoin, it's the same thing, guys, except the difference here is that this is a crash because it's a straight line down. Bitcoin is oscillating down to its backtest level. The stock market is crashing down to its backtest level. And so far, it's holding very nicely here. So that gives a little bit of room for a little bit more downside. All right? But not much. I would say within this box, we should get a little bit of a bounce. Now, if we get a bounce and the bounce is bearish, then we can look at it being some kind of bounce, like a retracement with further downside to come. This doesn't mean it's the all-time low. You know, we could have more downside later, right, after Bitcoin retraces. So if we look at Bitcoin again, right, so if Bitcoin holds, you could see the difference. Look at Bitcoin. Right? We flagged out, we broke out, and now we're backtesting. Does that look like a crash to you? Does Bitcoin, the whole market is just riddled with fear. Does that look like a crash to you? Hell no. Come on, guys. Look at this. I mean, we're way the hell up here. We're flagging out. We're above the 4th wave. I mean, I don't know why everyone's flipping, because it's the fear narrative, right? That's why everyone's consumed with fear. Look at the fear and greed index. Look at everybody's running for the hills. But if Bitcoin, had a big move down like this, like that, then I can see what, now that's a real crash, right? That's a real crash. All right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if we had all of these emotions that you can see the sentiment in Twitter and Facebook or YouTube or just wherever, and you can see it's not good. But the fact that Bitcoin barely moved, relative to the monthly, shows that, there's a bit of an overreaction, right? And, it's going to be short-lived. Trust me on that. I don't think this is going to last that long. So we'll see. I could be wrong, but we'll see. But let's go back and let's look at XRP here. So does XRP look like it's crashing to you? Hell no. XRP looks beautiful. And here's the thing, right? Should we do the large time frames? Yeah, let's do the monthly chart, since we're right on the monthly. Now let's go right there. Now look what XRP just did while everyone was quietly freaking out about everything else. Look what XRP did. It basically backtested. It officially backtested right there, the top of the retrace level. Okay, we finally hit it, and that's what we talked about last week, was about that $1.60, $1.66 area. The reason why is because when I zoom in, that was also this peak right here, right? And we talked about this little zone right here being a potential, because a lot of people, $1.50, $1.50, $1.30. Yeah, well, I was more in the $1.60 camp, $1.50, but it wouldn't surprise me if we go down a little bit and tag that area. Well, first of all, look at the daily candle. That's a pretty big doji right there. So I don't know how the following candle is going to react, but if we come down here and test it 50%, that's great. I'm not worried at all, guys. I hodl XRP. Look, if you're freaking out over your portfolio, drop a comment and come talk to me. All right, talk to me. What happened? What's the problem? The problem is the price is not going up. Why is it not going up? Is it something that we can control? No. We cannot get upset about things we cannot control. The only thing we can control is what we do with ourselves, not what the market does. All right. Now, markets go up, markets go down. We know that. The interesting thing, though, is how markets go down. Now, we saw THETA, we saw the stock market. That was a crash. Look at XRP. It's just oscillating, and it had a little bit of a dip there. That's all it had, right? That's all it needed, really. So my point here is this. If THETA is crashing, if Bitcoin is oscillating down, if the stock market is crashing, if the stock market is right at the backtest level, if Bitcoin is right at the backtest level, and THETA has 5 waves, and it's at its 64-cent backtest level, at the same time, XRP created this 3-wave move down. Don't you think that could be the end? It doesn't feel like it could be the end, because when things crash, it feels like it's never going to end. Just like when we were going up. Remember how many people said we were going to $10 right there? Never happened. So if we have that same concept and we go down right there, how many people are going to say we're going to $1? So I don't believe it. I think we're very, 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 very close, if not already there. Okay. I could be wrong. Don't listen to me. Don't make any decisions based on what I say. It needs to come from you, right? So at the end of the day, we officially, again, like I said, we backtested the top of this area over here. Okay, that's important. Why is that important? Because that's exactly what we did back over here, ladies and gentlemen. We backtested the top of this area here. See how we bounced off and then we had to come down and tag it once and then tag it again. This was the retrace, right? So look, we have a rise, crash, retrace. That's your retrace. You come down into reaccumulation, you go sideways, reaccumulation, accumulation, accumulation, right? Wyckoff accumulation, there's your spring. You blast off, okay, and then you come down and you backtest the retrace level. Now, that's literally exactly the same. Like, exactly, okay? So, same thing here. We have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. We go sideways, accumulation, accumulation, accumulation. We blast off. We break above the retrace level just like over here. And now we're coming down and we're back testing it. This is textbook stuff, okay? And we talked about this. Now, I've been in the camp that we were going to break up. All right? That's not, I've been in the camp that we were going to break up. And I still believe that. I still very much believe we're going to break to the upside. So the whole thing is, though, is getting through this fourth wave. Just like when we looked at Bitcoin real quick over here, right? Remember how long this took? Remember we had a three-way pullback. It's like, okay, it could be finished. We came up, we came back down. Okay, that's the three-way pullback. Yeah, it could be finished. And then we came up, we slammed the low. W, X, Y, X, Z, right? Now we can see the count. And then we had three waves up, we had three waves down, we had a 1-2, we had another 1-2, and then we went off into the third wave. So we saw what happened. We saw how long it took and things like that. By the way, Blockchain Backer shared a nice fractal. Kudos to him for sharing it. Let me show you. So check out this fractal over here, this one. So this was Bitcoin. You can see Bitcoin came all the way up and it created a flat here, or divergence. You can see that's the same thing that happened over here, right? But you could see very clearly we had an A, a B, and a C. And then the same thing here, a B, and a C. And you can see this looked like it was crashing to the downside right there. That was a crash. And it freaked everyone out. And it was like, we were breaking down. But look what happened. It was just an ABC. And look, you can see we had right here 1, 2, 3, 4 extended fifth. So we had 5 waves in this wave. Same thing here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 extended fifth, guys. Come on. So there we go. I mean, we're right there. Does it feel like it's a good buy? Do you feel euphoric? Do you feel good? No. Why? Because that's not the design, right? There's market makers out there with the mainstream media. Remember, Jim Cramer, he said this weekend, we're going to have a Black Monday. We're going to have a Black Monday crash. We're going to go down and we're going to, maybe he's right, but obviously he was wrong because the Dow is only down 250 points today. It's not like it's down 1,000 points. All right. So you could see it's since 7 a.m. this morning. We've been just chilling in here, right? It's nothing too crazy for the Dow, right? So you can see what's going on here with the Dow. And since I have the Dow up, you can see this. Check out this trend line I want to show you. So this trend line goes all the way back to the Great Depression, okay? And you can see we started breaking above it over here, and we came back down, we came back up, tested as resistance, came back down. We were floating on top of it, came back down, and you can see we're right above it. We still haven't quite tested it yet. So this trend line here, we're very close at testing that trend line. That goes all the way back to the Great Depression, guys. So that's a lot of confluence. Not only that, but you have a lot of confluence at the top here, right? So you have to understand, markets just don't crash like that, okay? This was C19. It was a very fast drop. But if you get a fast drop, it ends fast. The faster it drops, the scarier it is, the quicker it's over, right? Now, if you go to the Great Depression or if you go to 2008, it took a while for this thing to crash. That was several months there. That was at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, maybe add 6 and 7. I don't want to add all the months up, because they weren't all crashing style. But here's the Great Depression crash right here. So this was the 1929 stock market crash right there. That was history, all right. And it came down pretty aggressively, basically taking out all the stops. So if you look at this, see here's the thing. Here's your levels right here, right? And here's your level. So we broke out and we didn't even backtest. We sliced right through it like it wasn't even there. Okay? So that leads me to my next thing. Are we going to backtest? Right? Are we going to backtest? So here's the Dow. I think there we go. So like the 1929 stock market crash, this was here, and what happened? It sliced right through it like it wasn't even there. So that's going to be the thing. Does that happen, or do we get a bounce here? If we get a bounce here, it's gonna change the shape of the wave. So we'll see. All right, let's go back. Now let's take a look at XRP on the small time frames and see. This is the exciting stuff right here. Let's do, I need .p, and we'll do Binance futures chart, and then we'll zoom in. Let's zoom into the 6 hour first. Okay, so if we look at the 6 hour chart, you can see we've had this wave here, okay, is the exact wave right here. That's the extension of the wave. So this is your A wave, right? And then all of this right in here, all of this cluster, all of that is a B. Okay, and then this is your C. So you have A, B, C, right? We already know that. All right, now let's look at the 5 waves, right? We can see, and I did not get to buy the dip, unfortunately. I was asleep. I was up very late last night. I had a lot of bad news. Oh man, it's been a bad few days for me, and my wife's car, she was on her way to work, and it just went boom, like something happened. So maybe it was the alternator or something. That's what they were thinking. I wasn't there, so they towed the car, and a mechanic came to look at it, and he says, "Oh man, I got some bad news." And we're like, "What?" First of all, it's a 2015 Kia Optima. Okay, they're okay. I mean, they're whatever cars, And basically, we were trying to crank it, and the engine's stuck. So it looks like her engine blew up. Put it mildly. So we're trying to get with Kia to get the warranty. Because it's a 100,000-mile warranty, or so they say. We'll see how that goes. But now she doesn't have a car, and now she has to use my car. Now I can't do it. So it's been, and the reason why it's painful is because back in December we were right there. We were gonna sign the paper to trade her car in for a RAV4 or a CRV or some kind of little SUV. We were looking at the Kia Sportage, the Honda CRV, or the little Toyota RAV4. We were right there. We were right there. December, boom, and XRP. Our portfolios were amazing, right? We were above. We were chilling, man. We were way up here. So that was. Let me mark it. This is where I was at the dealership. I was at the dealership right about here when XRP was like 250, right there. And I said, yeah, the deal wasn't right. Remember, the interest rates were still kind of high, and it's just the deal wasn't really right for me. So I said, okay, we'll wait. And they called and they tried to negotiate. And I said, well, I kept delaying it. And damn, man, if I would have swapped that car, shoulda, woulda, coulda, but I had basically I had a bird in the hand. I had an opportunity to get rid of the car for a brand new car and trade it in, right? We were going to trade it in, and she was, we were going to use that as our down payment, and now that just went down the freaking drain. So, that's the frustrating part, is that we were right about to buy a new car and we were going to trade it in. Now, how the hell do you trade it in when the engine's blown? So now we're hoping that the warranty we can get a new engine and or something, right? Something, a new drivetrain or something. We're gonna or fix the existing engine, and then resell it, right? So hopefully it all works out. I think it will, but and then I was dealing with that, and then I was dealing with a few other financial problems with my dog. He needs surgery, and that's expensive as hell. She needs a new car, and that's expensive as hell. And it's so funny because right when you need an infusion of cash, that's when the market takes a dump. It's kind of funny. So it's like now I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell my assets at these low ass prices, but sometimes you got to, so, and, I don't, again, I have to rely solely on my trades to earn money. And I'm not a really good, I'm not a really good short trader. I like to trade long. I don't like to trade short, but I'm often doing so. I'm often trading short more than normal. I was short right when we took this low out. I went short, and then I ended up closing it when I woke up this morning. I think it was like right around there. So yeah, but I really like high probability setups, and I'm more of a swing trader. So, I'm waiting. I really don't want to trade short, because when you look at, like, when I go to THETA, I'm looking for longs, guys. I'm not looking for shorts. So that's, it's kind of frustrating because it's taking a while. But I think I like it right here, and I think I'm going to take a shot for THETA at where we are. So, but I think we have maybe a little bit more down to go. So we do have 5 waves here, and we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves here. We got a bounce, but remember, like all bounces, I want it to come back down. It's probably going to come back down to the low, just like every other bounce, right? Like if you look at this bounce right here, look what happened. You had a big bounce, right? And then it drizzled all the way back down to the low, right? That's it. That's what, most of the time, that's what happens. Same thing over here. You got a big bounce, and then you come all the way back down to the low, right? It happens all the time. You could see here, we had a bounce, we came back down to the low. I mean, it's just same thing over here. Bounce, come back down to the low. This one, however, did not. It just went up, but it ended up not sustaining itself. So, same thing over here, right? You had 3 waves up. You came all the way back down, back to the low. So, I'm looking at THETA here, and I want to see the price flag out to the downside, get a higher low, and then I can potentially long it back up to there. But if we don't have 5 waves quite yet, because you could say that if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's 4, And then this is a 1, 2, 1, 2. So basically 1, 2. This is 3, this is 4, and this is 5. And this wave right here, remember we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. That could be the third wave, right? So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. Now we're in 4, then we get 5. And that has confluence. Remember, the Bitcoin's not quite there. The stock market's not quite at the backtest level. XRP's really close, you know, so... now let's zoom in a little bit more. Let's go back to THETA. Whoa, look at THETA. You could see 5 waves very clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So is this an A? Is this a B? And then we're going to get a C? Hey, that would be great. Let's get an ABC down here. That would be nice to see. And then we can get a continuation, hopefully, to the upside. Monero. Monero looks good too, I think. Let's see. I haven't looked at Monero. I haven't even looked at any charts. I've been at doctor's appointments and stuff, so I haven't really got to see anything. Yeah, it looks good. I like it now. Look, guys, look at this. Boom, boom, boom. We got 3 down finally. So I'm trying to see how I could read this. So I got 3 waves down. I got 3 waves up. Okay, I got 3 waves back down. That was our original flat. That was a running flat. And then we had a wave 1, and then it looked like a wave 2, and then that was supposed to take us out. But that's right when the tariff stuff happened. All right, so that's not the count, right? So the way I look at it now is I would take this, you know, I could look at this completely different now. So here we go. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that was a 5-wave move. It was a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So now let's count this way. Now check this out right here. Look, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and that was wave 5. So instead of ending it here, it ended here. The reason why it ended there is because we had 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that was the 5th wave. But I wasn't counting it that way. I was counting it as a flat. But now, if that's the 5th wave, then it makes it easier. The reason why is now I know for sure that's the 5th wave. So what do we have? Now we have 1, 2, right? Or we have, let's see, how would I do this? It's not the best looking structure, but you basically got, you know, a wave down, you got 3 waves up, and you got 3 waves back down. So essentially, right, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Right? Or you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, and then this right here is a B. Oh, yeah. I think that's better. So this would be an A. This right here would be a B. And then, or a W, so you have W, X, and then you have 3 down for Y. Boom, boom, boom. Right? But it you know, it could still be a flat here. It could still be a flat. But if that's 5 waves, it doesn't really matter because we're still looking for 3. If this is a flat, we're looking for 3. If it's not, then we're still looking for 3. All right, let's take a look at some other. Okay, SHIB finally got another low. Do we have divergence on that low? Not on the 8-hour, but what about if we bump it up a little bit? Whoa! Wow! Look at the divergence on the 3-day chart. That's pretty strong. It's not quite there. I mean, we should give it a little bit more time. But look at SHIB, guys. We are officially at backtest levels for SHIB. So I still feel very lucky and fortunate because XRP did so well. So I think I could potentially rebalance my portfolio. I mean, remember we talk about the great rotation, right? We want to rotate. well, I wouldn't mind selling my XRP right now for something else like SHIB because of how low it actually is. I mean, just to get back to the top here, you're looking at 200% or so. But I think it'll probably go a lot higher than that. But you can see how much support we have, right? We have all of this support here, right? We have 3 waves up. We have a 1-year 3-wave pullback, right? And if you look, all the bad news, all the tariff, all the stock market, all of it's happening at the 5th wave. It's just hilarious to me. So I'm very much looking for longs. I'm looking for bottoms. So, but I don't quite have 5 waves. Remember, before we were looking at this as 3 up and then 3 down. It could still be that, and we could take the low and then we could still get 5 up, but then I would look at that as a flat. And if we get a flat, then we would come down pretty fast. And 3. So maybe we can explore that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, or actually 1, 2, and then we have 5 or 3, that, and then 4, and then 5. So if we get a flat, A, B, and a C, that's 3 waves up. And then if we get 3 waves down, and then we get 5 waves up, that would be interesting. I like that idea, because that would be your A, B, C, and that would get us into the retrace levels. And then maybe hopefully something powerful like that. So let's take a look at ICP here. Everything officially has 5 waves, guys. Everything has 5 waves. So this is it. I think this is the low, man. I think we are so close at it being a low. Okay. 1, 2, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 3. So 1, 2, 3. That's 4. And then this could be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we get 1 more down for 5. So whatever, right? We're still very, very close. Hopefully we don't have to get another one like that. But yeah, and then you also have your 7-wave crashing structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you have plenty of waves to the downside for it to be over. Kind of looks like what XRP looked like. This structure right here kind of looks like XRP. Let me see here. So if you look like this, and then let's zoom out on here. So you see how we had this move down, right? You came back up, moved down, came back up, and then you kind of just played around in here. You played around in here. It was a descending triangle. Then you broke down, right? But look how fast and vicious it broke down. It came down pretty big. So you have to keep an eye on that. But you could see, probably somewhere right there. And we have another low to go. So I'm still counting on one more low. I'm looking for longs, but I'm still counting that we have a little bit more downside. Again, the reason why I say that is I'll just look at Solana. I haven't even looked at Solana. I'll just take one random coin. So if you look at Solana, I already know. Look at, so you came up right there. What do you think's going to happen? It's probably got to come back down and revisit the low. And then if we can come back up and then get a spring, and then, that would create, we need structure. I don't like waves that just go straight down, straight up. We need structure to identify what it is. Same thing with VeChain. Now, there is an option where VeChain and Solana and whatever, what if we just keep pumping here? You know, what if this just keeps pumping and pumping and pumping and we get up here? Then you got a downward resistance line, then you're going to probably have to come back down anyway. So look at that 3-wave pullback. I was looking at that too yesterday. Look at that 3-wave, beautiful pullback. CRV looks like it's on point right here. And look at CRV. It actually has created this base. Look at that. That's what we want to see, guys. This is what we want. Look at that. Right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves to the downside. And then we have 3. This could shoot up like this, and that could be 3 waves up, back up to here. And then that could be a continuation of the crash, or we can go into reaccumulation, or we can flag out. I mean, there's a lot of different things that could happen at the retrace levels. But here's the thing. What do I always say, right? You have point A, you have point A, point B. Where's point C, guys? Point C is up here. The triangulation of markets. They always triangulate, okay? So even Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin. You got point A, okay? Point B is somewhere down here, and eventually you're going to get point C. You get the top, you get the bottom, and then you get the retrace. So we should be, that's what really markets are, right? They go up, they go down, and then they retrace. And then they decide they either continue or continue down, right? But that's in point C. Point C is the hardest. Point A is easy. Point B is easy. Point C is very difficult. I think that's about it. I don't know. Is there any coins you want me to look at? Let's take a look at THETA versus Bitcoin. THETA versus Bitcoin is basically at lows, guys. It's at the very lowest point. So, you know, and Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance is at the 702. So, or just above it. But yeah, this is typically where we should see THETA bounce. THETA is severely undervalued against Bitcoin. Is this going to continue down, or are we going to get some support? I think we find some support here. We got even 7 waves here, guys. Look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, you know, it's really 5. 1, 2, right? 3, 4, and then 5. So same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So A, B, C. This is obviously 5, 3, 5. That's an ABC. So one that really needs to show up is Ethereum. Ethereum is severely undervalued. Yeah, it looks like what it's doing is a rise, crash, retrace. Now it came down into reaccumulation. Same thing with XRP, but now it's got to find its footing and then go back up. So if we get that, then it's going to look interesting. So like over here, you had the W model where you had this W shape. This could be something similar, but just more elongated, you know? Wow. Ethereum fell quite a bit. Let's take a trend-based fib extension. We're going to take it from here, and then we're going to go all the way up. We're going to see where it came to. We almost hit the 1.414, guys. That's pretty good. You can see on log scale, we already hit the 1618. So look at that. We had a perfect 1618 extension, guys. So we have... let's take a look here. Yeah, we definitely look 1, 2. Looks like 3, 4, and 5. It looks pretty damn good, man. What? Let me ask you a question. Okay, just be honest. All right, let's say the market did this, right? Let's say we went up. We were going up like this. We were going up. and up and up and up and up. Okay. Would you buy it here? Let me just ask you that real quick. We've been going up, up and up and up. How much did we go up, guys? How much did we go up? We went up 65%. All right. Actually, it would be a lot more. It'd be a lot more, but because it's reversed, it's different. Would you buy it here? Hell no, right? Remember the chart. Imagine these are green candles and we were going up. We just had 5 waves, right? Would you buy it here? No. So why would you sell it then, right? So let me flip it upside down. Why, if you wouldn't buy it here, but the reverse, then why would we sell it? Doesn't make sense. There's no way I would sell or short Ethereum right here. It's already completely obliterated, right? So everyone is looking for trust me when I tell you, the smart money, they're looking for longs. They're not looking for shorts. They're looking for longs, right? We just had a major move down. So people are looking for shorts or for longs. So if we take this line, we go all the way down there. That's how big this thing is. Now, if I take that over here, you can see that actually almost rivals the entire Ethereum bear market. Remember, this is the whole bear market right there. This is the retrace, and now we're going down into reaccumulation. This crash is basically the same size as that. So I don't really see much more downside. I just don't see it. I think we're very close. So let's take this line. Let's put it over here. You can see, if you look over here, this is actually the same size as this wave here. Remember, this was our retrace, and then we came back down. This is the same size, right? So down, down, up, up, and then down. Here's your wave, and then down, there's your wave. So that's basically almost the same size, interestingly. Let's zoom in, and let's take a look. So the 1 hour chart, whoops. Yeah, you could see how it's trending, 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 and then it drops. So this trend line actually got taken out. That's why it's extreme. This is extreme levels here. See, yeah, it doesn't work like that. All right, let me try it like this. There we go. Kind of a reverse channel there. So anyways, I think that should do it. Let's take a look at the Russell. Look at the Russell, guys. The Russell is completely obliterated. It's all the way back down, right? So you have a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation. If we can go sideways here, we could break out, and this could be an ABC, A, B, C. This is a flat right here. So we have a wave up, and then we have a flat in the middle, which could continue us up. I think the Russell will be a big benefactor because that's, this is the 2000. These are smaller companies, and smaller companies are the bread and butter of the United States. We really need small companies. H-bar looks good. See, H-bar didn't really crash. It had a little bit of a move down, but you can see it was in orderly fashion. It wasn't like this where we came and then we just had a major dump here, right? So how big is the drop on H-bar? If we take this, how big is that? Pretty substantial, right? And you can see if I match it up to this crash here, it almost got down to there if you don't count the wick. So size matters of how big it is. But let's take a look closer at the smaller time frames. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. Okay, and then we have an A, a B, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A, and then this is a B, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C. So this was a 3-wave move to the downside. So, and really that would be W, X, and then Y. So everything looks great. I don't know. Everything looks solid to me. I wish I bought the bottom. I really wish I would have bought there. Damn it. That would have been a really good spot to get in. So let's hope that it comes back down and revisits the low down here. I'm not gonna rush it. You know, there's no rush, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Man, I think we're right there. You know, I mean, we could be. It could be the low. Could be in. It could be in now. I mean, that's a big bounce right there. So if the low is in, that's a pretty big bounce. Then you know, and we have 5 waves. I mean, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this could be A, B, and a C. I hope this is an A, B, C here. I wouldn't mind buying right in this area, right? You take the whole wave, you cut it in half. I'm looking at 13.5 cents for H bar if we get down there. But this thing looks like it's going to continue up. Look what it's doing. It broke out and now it's kind of flagging out in here. So this thing could continue higher. Unfortunately, that's not what I want to see, but hopefully we can get a little bit of a move down. Ethereum Classic. All right, let's take a look at something else. Man, Rune, that was a big crash. That looks terrible. See, this is what I want to see for the rest of the market. You see how it came up in 5 and then it drizzled all the way back down. That's what I want to see for H bar and everything else. Wow, look at that. Pretty interesting, you know. You got 3 waves there, you got 3 waves there, you got 5. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your B. And then maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that would suggest another low. Uniswap had a big crash too. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Look how many waves that is. Look at 1, 2. You got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, you have the right amount of waves to the downside. Plus, look at all the support you're at. You have all of the support right here. So I don't know. I think Uniswap, that would be a good buy right here. Not financial advice, but you know, is that a diag? Is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? That would be insane. And that's a wave 1. And now we have, it would have to be kind of a flat here for a wave 2, like an ABC and then go up like that. So 1, ABC 2. Just an idea. Just an idea. IMX. Same thing with IMX. I mean, look at the I mean, I haven't even been talking about the divergences. Look at the divergence on the 2-day. That's strong, right? Let's look at Uniswap. There's divergence there on Uniswap. Let's look at Filecoin. There's a little bit of divergence there, but on the daily, you definitely got it. QNT, nope, don't have it there. So you're getting some divergence. Atom, Pepe. Anyways, I think that should do it for this video. Here's Pepe. What about Dog? I forgot about that one. What was going on with Dog? Oh, not Doge. What happened to Dog coin? I thought we had it here. Yeah, here it is. It's down. Woo! That took a beating. Definitely very extremely risky. But look, 1, 2, and obviously all of that's 5. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. So yeah, once this wave is finished, that's going to be the low. It could be finished right now. We'll see. All right. Oh, ADA. That's right. ADA. Okay, so we got 3 waves down in ADA. We got 3 waves up, and we got 1, 2, 3 waves down. So we have 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. That could be a complete WXY correction. It could be done. And then we kind of create a little bit of a base. We want to break. We want an impulse, and then we want to flag out, and then we want to break out, right? So something like maybe we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get one more wave down, create a little bit more divergence, create a little bit of a base, go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then flag out in here, right? Then break to the top, maybe play around, and then hit the high. So could see something like that. I don't think there's much downside left. Now for ADA, there is always a chance you could come down here and retest this area at 45 cents or so, but I wouldn't, or 40 cents, but we'll see how it plays. For me, the best thing that I can say is be patient and continue to dollar cost average no matter how fearful you are, right? Look at Link. That is a perfect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves down. I mean, it's perfect. So since you get 5 down, you probably won't get 5 up. You're probably going to get 3 up. And then you're going to have to get 5 down again. And then that's when you go. Unless this was a flat. 3 down, 3 up, and then 5 down. A, B, C, a big running flat. I haven't looked at Oh, look at Algo. Oh my goodness. Algo perfectly backtested it right there. Look at that. Perfectly. Look at that. It came perfectly all the way back down there. So did THETA, right? And almost in Bitcoin. So basically, you have the stock market backtesting. And barely there, right? Almost there for the stock market. You have Bitcoin almost there, almost to backtest, and you have Algo and several others that were backtesting, right? And then again, you have 5 waves down. So you have a B, C. So this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2. So if we do, we want to get going up here, and that could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 even. So I'm excited for the future of crypto. Tariffs. Here's the problem: tariffs are a good thing, not a bad thing. Tariffs are used. Everyone wants you to think they're bad. They're good. All right, because they're going to replace the income tax, and they're going to help rebalance our entire trade. You can't continue having major trade deficits like this. America is, a fat pig. That's what America is. It's a fat pig that consumes and consumes and eats and eats and eats and eats and consumes. And the rest of the money is making a fortune off our consumption. So things need to change, or it's not going to, your children's future is not going to be, it's not going to be so pretty. We have to fix it. And that includes short-term pain, right, for the long-term gain. I know it doesn't feel like it right now, but that's just the way it is. So, AVAX almost getting 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, you got some support down in here. You got a 3-way pullback, a 1-year 3-way pullback, just about. So, anyways, that'll do it for this video. We'll see how the rest of the week goes. I still think we could revisit some of those lows, but I want to see, I'm looking for long. So anyways, I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.